Hello, my name is Jimmy. I'm a child passenger safety technician, and we're currently inside the 2025 Escalade IQ, the electric Escalade. And we also have the rear seat, like executive package. So the rear seats here, they're heated, cooled, massaging, powered, like all the 9 yards, including tray tables in the center that you can take out. Great for like adults and maybe kids that are a little bit more grown up, but let's see how well child seats fit inside. I got a few Clek products like this Clek Liing, and I have some other stuff, and I'll show you exactly how to install them and how well they fit inside the vehicle. So the Liing itself, Liing's relatively easy. We got on the base, we got the low leg, we just take that out, and then we pull out the lower anchors. Rigid anchors makes it just a whole bunch easier. The Escalade has two sets of lower anchors, one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. They're just in between the upper and lower portion, or the bite of the seat. Very easy to install. Just gotta click it in. Simple as that. Then we just push it back. And then pull down the load leg. Easy. Of course, we can then adjust the angle that we need here, and then non-dominant hand at the anchor points just to see if I can move it any more than an inch. Solid, so perfect install here. We then, of course, get the Liing itself. The doors open quite wide, and because of that, it's very easy to get access to the interior. Also, they're powered, so yeah, with the press of a button, they can open all the way, which is very, very handy. Got the Liing right here. It is a little bit higher of a vehicle, and because of that, if you're a little bit shorter, I mean, you just have to lift a little bit higher. So maybe a little bit more difficult for you if you're shorter, of course. But I'm 5'11". For me, shouldn't be an issue. But of course, when your child weighs up and fits in here, I mean, you're then struggling with like 20, 25, 30 pounds to place on top of, well, a relatively taller vehicle. So just consider that, if you will. In terms of the front seat, this is adjusted to me at 5'11", and you can see there's still quite a bit of space in between the screen and the back of the infant seat. This seat here is moved as far back as it can go, so there really isn't too much space for whoever's in the third row. But we won't worry about people back there because executive seat option, really not designed for getting people into the third row. But let's move over on the passenger side. I want to put either a Fllo or Foonf here in rear facing just to show you how much room there is for that. All right, so I got the Foonf here. I'm going to install this in rear facing. I moved the front seat forward a little because I don't want to damage the screen just in case. The second row here, this is moved as far back as I need. So there's plenty of room here. Really shouldn't become a problem. But getting a child seat like this in here shouldn't be too difficult with bulky seats like this. Should be nice and easy. So let's route the seat belt that I have here on, and we'll use the step to kind of get in and into the buckle. There we go. Of course, you can use the lower anchors, but as with all lower anchors, there is a maximum weight of 65 pounds. And that's not just child, that is child and the car seat. So when you add it all together, you got to make sure that your child and the car seat itself doesn't exceed that 65-pound limit. There we are. Non-dominant hand at belt path, not moving an inch. I'm gonna put this back in, and we have a Clek Foonf fully installed on the passenger side here. Relatively easy. The lower anchors are easy enough to get access to. The upper anchors, that's a different story because they're actually really low down on these seats. If you don't have the executive rear seat package, they're kind of in the middle, which makes a lot more sense. But because of these seats, they're like all the way down on the bottom. So let's get this out of here. Let's get a forward-facing seat, and I'll show you how to install that, because there's a little bit of a trick to it. All right, as for a forward-facing seat, I have this Clek Fllo here, and I want to show you how to install this on the passenger side, and I want to show you exactly how to route your upper tether anchor as well, because that's a little bit, well, it's not as intuitive as you might think it would. But I'm going to use the lower anchors here. That one's already in. Let's make sure I have it at the right spot. Put this side in as well. Cinch that nice and tight. The easiest way is always to push down on the seat. Take the bottom of the cushion off so you know where to push. I always aim for the firmest part of the seat, which is kind of the base here. And when I do, I push this down, I pull the tether up. That makes everything nice and tight. The upper tether, instead of going like up and around the headrest, it actually goes beside it, either to the left or the right. In the manual, it says you can go either way. If you have upper tethers that's like dual on some car seats, you just go around the headrest. But I have to, I see a problem. The car shut off. And because of that, I don't have access to my touchscreen here, so I can't move the seat forward, so I can't put my lower anchor in easily. The executive rear seat package is great on paper, but when installing car seats, it is not easy. It is just not easy. Give me a sec. Let me get power back to the unit so that I can move the seat up, get that lower anchor installed. All right, now that I got power to the vehicle, I can press the seat position on the passenger side here, and then I can move it forward. Imagine having to do this to get like people in and out of the back seat. Oh, I should not be there. There we go. The upper anchor, it goes around the seat, as you can see here, and it goes down the back of the seat. And then the upper anchor point is down the bottom of the chair, which is really hard to get access to. And then you can tighten it up. There we go. And once you do, you can then move the seat all the way back so that it's back to where it's supposed to be. The executive rear seat package is great for if you have older kids or just adults that you're carrying, but installing car seats, it's just a hassle. Belt path, non-dominant hand, not moving more than an inch. So that is properly installed. Of course, I just don't have the base or the cushion for it. But yeah, that's how we install a forward-facing seat, a rear-facing, as well as an infant carrier inside the Escalade IQ. I'm not going to put car seats in the third row because if you have seats in the second row, it's impossible to get to the third row. Literally impossible, unless you jump through the center. So there's really no way. And you're going to be putting seats here instead of putting them in the third row. There isn't enough room with the executive rear seats for like a rear-facing seat in the third row anyways. I suspect for most families, if you're going to be getting an Escalade IQ, you aren't going to get this rear seat package. You're just going to get the standard seats, which means this is going to be a whole lot easier. This is just because of this rear seat package. It's designed for adults. It's designed so that way they can have a little tray table here. They can work. They can do the things they need. I mean, it's great for a kid to have a snack. I've been carrying my 4-year-old here. I put him forward-facing just because then he can use this tray table. But I also had him rear-facing, and it's been fine. But this tray table will not fit if they're rear-facing. So, something to keep in mind. Or not. I don't know. This package is... It's not designed for kids, let's be honest. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you do. If you find it resourceful, share it with your friends. If they're going to get an Escalade, let them know this executive rear seat package is not really designed for kids. But yeah, in any case, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Take care.